And welcome back to round one of the YugiTuber Grand Championship. In this match, we have P-Bunny, who's going to be playing Spellbooks, going up against PointyStarVio, who's playing Madolches. And for today's commentary, we have with us once again, Nim Nim. Nim Nim?
What's up, you guys? So we're going here, and we have Dennis P-Bunny versus, Derek.
It is
PointyStarVio.
These are like two of your favorite people going up against each other. So it looks like Derek won the rock, paper, scissors, so he's opting to go first. Now, what do you think about this matchup going into it?
Spellbooks versus Madolche. I think, obviously, Madolche might have the upper hand in the matchup. Something interesting is both decks kind of have a non-targeting effect in the form of Fate, and then Madolche's with their Tiramisu, which is pretty cool. But I do think Madolche's, with the fact that they can combo off and they have an easy way to maintain advantage and just redo combos over and over again, I think they might have the upper hand in this matchup at least.
So Vio just going ahead and summoning out a Mageline, which if you've seen our previous Madolche matchups, Mageline's kind of just like the Stratos of the deck. It nets you any Madolche card, and in this case he chose Angeli, which is a pretty standard play, and he just follows that up with a couple of back row. But no, I agree with you. I feel like Madolches actually have a really good matchup against Spellbooks, because I feel like they can totally, if they can stop Spellbooks early, then they're gonna just make it a really hard time for Spellbooks to be able to maintain any sort of board presence.
And there comes the Justice.
It's the Justice. Ooh, Justice being met with the Book of Moon on summon.
And the interesting thing with that is, even if Dennis could combo off, he wouldn't have a face-up spellcaster to use with Fate.
Right.
So that was Book of Moon's a very powerful card against that.
It also locks him out from being able to use any other of his spellbook spells, like Masters, for instance, if he had another spellbook to copy with it. But in that case, the Justice getting completely shut down, and that's actually going to just totally set P-Bunny back almost an entire turn.
And a main deck's Night Beam comes down, which is a very interesting card, I think, to play in like this tournament at least. That definitely hurts Fate if you know which one it is.
Yeah, because Night Beam isn't... I mean, we're not playing a really super aggro-aggressive format here, so Night Beam's just a really interesting choice. But it ends up paying off because he hits a Fiendish Chain with it, and now he can just completely go off with his Angeli.
He could have won on it anyways, because you tribute Angeli to activate its effect.
Oh, that's right. But no, I mean, he could have stopped it here at the Hook Cake. That's what I was implying.
Yeah. So if Dennis doesn't have a way to... I'm going to keep referring to him as Dennis throughout the video, but like, if he doesn't have a way to stop this combo going off, he's going to easily lose the two cards he already has established on board.
Exactly, because Tiramisu's just going to totally just spin them back, and that's just going to be really hard for P-Bunny to recover there. So he's going to Spanish the Angeli and special off Messengelado, which that's going to net him either Chateau or Ticket, I would assume.
I would assume probably Ticket at this stage to get the additional special summon at the end of the combo.
At the end of the combo, yeah. And
I mean, at this rate, yeah. At this rate, it seems like if you can get rid of those two cards that are already on the field, I think Dennis is just going to be so far behind on advantage that he's not going to be able to combat. He has to combat a face-up Tiramisu that can activate next turn as well. So he has to set up something like that provides immediate pressure towards his board.
Oh, we see Instant Fusion coming down, so that's just going to further extend PointyStarVio's combo. That's actually really powerful in this case, because now that gives him access to gives him access to a level 3 that he would usually have in the form of Mufui, but in this case, since he doesn't, yep, there comes the Fusionist, just like I thought.
That's going to either get him a Leviair or an MX Saber Invoker, or any other rank 3 that he really wants to make, because at this stage, he's not able to use the additional level 4 he's able to get off for XYZ material.
Right. But PointyStarVio is just looking incredibly strong in this position right now. And there comes the Leviair. And if he decides to use the effect, he can grab that Angeli back for more rank 4 Xyz fodder.
Yeah, I guess he could have at the end of the combo a Messenger Lotto just face up on the field. Oh no, he is able to get a lot more done because he is able to get back that Angeli, make Tiramisu, and then special summon another level 4 to make yet another rank 4.
Yeah, just the amount of combo potential this deck has is just absolutely insane. He's detaching for the Leviair's effect to special out the Angeli.
which is going to give him materials to be able to use with a tiramisu.
Now, how is P-Bunny possibly going to recover from this? Because assuming everything goes in PointyStarVio's favor, he's only going to have 4 cards in hand at the end of this. So you have to assume, Priestess is pretty much dead at this point, unless he has Priestess plus 3 books, which I don't know how likely that is.
Well, if he were to have Priestess I think the only way he would have had access to Priestess would be with that Justice. Because now what we would have to know is he would have to be holding 2 dead spellbook cards as well as the Priestess in hand and be able to draw into another spellbook.
But it is perfectly possible. He could have Eternity and Life, for example, which are completely useless at the moment. So it's possible, but in this case, it's really unlikely.
Yeah, and to combat his board that he has right now, he'd have to have... Well, no, I guess a Priestess drop could combat the board. Mm-hmm. It's just...
Interesting. So, P-Bunny actually choosing to activate Reckless Greed preemptively on the summon of Tiramisu.
Hopefully maybe to draw, dig for an Effect Veiler or something.
Yeah, just anything at this point to help save the one monster he has on board.
That's not a very good look, too, because if he didn't draw in anything he needed, it could have very well just cost him the game.
Yeah, so Vio activating the effect of Tiramisu, detaching, returning Imidolce to his deck, and then he gets to shuffle a card on P-Bunny's field back into his deck.
I'm very curious about that play, too, because even with a special summon off a ticket, I do not believe that is game on board. It might be... he can go into Gaga Cowboy, I believe, if he has it, to just make it game.
Well, right there, that's 16, 32, 5,000...
800, and then it's 72. So it's going to... If Cowboy exactly puts for game.
It's exactly Cowboy, yeah. And there, it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Let's see it. Yep, there's the Cowboy.
There it is.
Whew, and that's going to be a very swift game 1, yes. We're going to go straight into round 2, or game 2, rather. It was just really unfortunate for P-Bunny in that last game to just get his Justice Book of Moons so early on, because it ultimately ended up just shutting out the game for him.
Yeah, not having access to any of either his dead books, it could have been Master, or could have been even Fate, but he didn't have any other spellbooks to work with anyways. Having a Justice go off first turn, or a Blue Boy, is just so critical.
So it looks like P-Bunny opting to go first, which against this matchup, since it does look like a really bad matchup, he's going to want to have all the advantage he can get. And if he can establish a board quickly and effectively, he might actually have a really good chance. It
sounds kind of awkward, but I think not having the 6th card anymore kind of hurts this deck's consistency.
So we see a Blue Boy come down, so that's a good start.
Oh.
And, wow, it's going to get met with an Effect Veiler. That is huge. PointyStarVio with all the answers in this match. But going back to what you were saying, Nim, the fact that spellbooks no longer had the ability for their 6th card, it's just really hard for them to just assemble all their correct combo pieces to just establish a really good board turn 1.
It looks like a Vanity's Emptiness is going to get added off that Potter Duality.
Yeah, and I think that's really what he needed in this case, especially since that Spellbook Magician got Effect Veiler. He's going to want all the defensive traps that he can get his hands on.
But see, the problem with it is, if he does flip up that Vanity's Emptiness, and it looks like he's only setting 2, so unless that other one is something powerful enough, like a Fiendish Chain to stop attacks, that Spellbook Magician is just going to get run over, and that Vanity's Emptiness is going to go right with it. So something easily normal summonable like a Magellin or something can just punch over the Spellbook Magician.
Yeah, it looks like PointyStarVio is just going to go ahead and summon out a Hoot Cake, and he might do exactly what you just said, because it puts P-Bunny in a really awkward position, because he's really just going to be forced to just take it.
I definitely would have added the Spellbook Magician off of that.
Wow. And PointyStarVio opening with both Madolche Chateau and Madolche Ticket. That is huge. And now it looks like PointyStarVio is just going to go ahead and activate the effect of Hoot Cake, since he has the Effect Veiler in Graveyard that he can use to banish. And the cool thing about Hoot Cake is that the cost is just to target the monster in Graveyard. You don't actually banish it. So it forces P-Bunny into a really awkward position, because if he does use Vanities here to stop Hoot Cake, PointyStarVio can just go ahead and attack over the Spellbook Magician, destroy the Vanity's Emptiness, and in his main phase 2, he can continue to do the same thing again, seeing as how it doesn't banish.
I believe Hoot Cake is only once per turn, though, so even if he did activate the effect targeting the effect failure in the graveyard, he'd have to wait the next turn to activate it again.
Oh, that's true. Okay, fair enough.
The Vanity's Emptiness is going to stop the Hoot Cake special summon, which I don't really think it gathered him that much ground, because he still has a 2,000 Hoot Cake he has to get over, as well as an established Chateau and a ticket. So
yeah,
I would have saved the Vanity's Emptiness if I would have added it at all, but
PointyStarVio just setting a back row and passing. And I wonder how P-Bunny is going to really respond to this. We see a Justice, so that's interesting. You know, at least he has a monster that he can do something with. Potentially. Hopefully he has a spellbook. Oh, it looks like he has the spellbook Library of the Crescent. So that's actually really good here, because for those of you who don't know what this card does is basically you pick 3 spellbooks out of your deck, and then your opponent's going to randomly add one of them to your hand. So how you do that on Dueling Network is that you assign numbers 1 through 6 to each of those cards. So P-Bunny's going to go ahead and say, like, Secrets 1, 2, Power 3, 4, Tower 5, 6. Yeah, that's exactly how he did it. And then Pointy Star is going to go ahead and roll a die, and whatever the number comes up as is the card that gets added to the hand. So in this case, P-Bunny's going to get the Spellbook of Secrets, which is really good because it's going to give him access to the rest of his deck, and Justice of Prophecy is now online, so that's really good.
the problem is, though, since he did normal summon Justice of Prophecy, and since he is in a really awful position, probably at like risk of getting OTK next turn, he's going to have to keep that Justice of Prophecy to activate a Fate during the end phase. But it looks like he's going to attack over that Hoot Cake, which I don't think that's something I would agree with, because not only does he get that Hoot Cake back to hand, but he can easily net something off that ticket as well, which could be a Mufuli, which easily sets up his combo to add a Tiramisu on the field next turn.
There's also a very risky move as well, seeing as how PointyStarVio has that back row. So if that was anything to disrupt it, that would have just been really bad. Like, say it was a Dimensional Prison, then the Justice would have been banished, and then P-Bunny would have been left with nothing on his field. But luckily it went through, and now both players are just adding cards to their hand due to their respective effects. PointyStarVio getting the Mufuli off of the Madolche ticket, and P-Bunny is going to get Spellbook of Fate from the effect of Spellbook of Power. So
what P-Bunny is going to have to do is he cannot activate Justice of Prophecy so that Fate will be live. But
right.
The thing is going back to what you said about that being a potential like Dimensional Prison and everything, since the format, quote-unquote, format, is so open in this tournament, you can't tell exactly what people are playing. So some cards, like, I'm maining, I think, 2 Mirror Force in my deck, because I believe it's going to be something powerful. Well, it may not be powerful. It's like, oh.
Wow, the Book of Moon again on the Justice of Prophecy. And it's going to force P-Bunny into a really awkward position, because to activate Spellbook of Fate, you need to have a spellcaster face up on the field. So P-Bunny's either going to have to keep that in the back row, or he's going to have to use it right here and now and burn it on just one of the other cards that are on the field. And it looks like that's what he's going to have to do.
There's not really anything worth banishing, though, right now, because if he does go off on his combo, he can add another Chateau or a ticket if he plays more than one ticket. So I would personally hit the back row if he can't chain it, if Vio can't chain it. But that's that would be my choice.
That would probably be the best target, yeah. Don't Madolche players typically only run one ticket, though?
I do. I don't know if Vio does. I don't know his deck list, but I know I run 2 Chateau and 1 ticket.
Yeah, I thought that's like the standards, like 2 Chateau, 1 ticket, but I might be wrong. Anyway, we see PointyStarVio is going to just go ahead and summon out the Mufuli, which is going to allow him to special summon the Hoot Cake, and from here, he's just going to have the ability to just combo off and just do some really absurd plays that's going to ultimately probably end up in a Tiramisu and put P-Bunny in a really bad position once again.
Yeah, he's going to end up with a Tiramisu on field as well as an Invoker, I believe, because he doesn't have access. He did have access to Angeli, but he couldn't have banished it to activate it with Levier. So he's going to end up with an MX Saber Invoker and
not the special summon of the Messengelado.
And then Messengelado gets him back that Chateau, which kind of made the whole Fate disruption play kind of meaningless. Yeah. So it looks like he is going to exceed into the MX Saber Invoker.
Mm-hmm.
And MX Saber Invoker's effect will allow him to detach to special summon a level 4 or lower Earth Warrior type monster or Beast Warrior type monster, but the only target in Madolche is really being Messenger, which now it gives him access to a
But that's all you
Tiramisu.
need, because that just gives you... Exactly. And going back to the whole Fate thing, I really feel like the only reason P-Bunny did that was to just maybe potentially set up his field for next turn, if you might have, I don't know, maybe an Eternity or something. It would really help if he had a Tower out right now, but unfortunately he doesn't. But PointyStarVio is going to go into that Tiramisu, and things are not looking good for P-Bunny right now.
Yeah, if this resolves, I don't think things are going to look good at all, because now he's out of the monster. He might not even draw into a monster his next turn if he lasts that long. Because I think when you special summon off the ticket off this, is that going to be game or is that going to be shy? Let's see, it's going to be 27, 21, 48,
16
40...
makes 64.
So it's 100 life points off. So it looks like Dennis might have another turn.
He just might live another day. Down to 100 life points. And oh wow, the instant
There
fusion
comes the
as
instant
the
fusion.
set bluff. That's incredible, because that allows PointyStarVio to just bring out a level 4 Carbonalo Warrior, and now he can just overlay those two and make a Galgaga Cowboy just like game 1, and that's going to be the end of the match.
Yeah, Dennis already sees what's coming, so he kind of just concedes.
Yeah, I mean, Book of Moon and Instant Fusion, just really key cards for PointyStarVio. Like, that just totally shut out P-Bunny.
Book of Moon put in a lot of work in this matchup, and it should. It's a really good card against spellbooks. Being able, it was for spellbooks good, and against spellbooks it's really good too. But
there's a reason it's the best neg one in the game. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next match.